What is up, guys? Wolfgang here. So today I want to talk about earphones and my experience with IEMs most specifically. Now, in this case, I just really want to talk about my experience with IEMs, maybe give a head start for people who want to kind of get into the hobby. And yeah, let's get right into it. There are several different kinds of earphones. I'm not really here to give you the tutorial, but there are headphones, which are the ones that go on your head, kind of larger than this. I don't have a pair right now, but something like the Sony XM4s or XM5s. There's also IEMs, which are like this. These go inside your ear. And there's also earbuds that kind of just fit on your ear. Each one with their own advantages. So for example, headphones can give you louder sound, can give you more immersive sound, more directionality. IEMs warm up your head less, which is why I've moved to IEMs instead of headphones, as my head gets pretty hot. IEMs don't heat my head up as much. They're much easier to transport. They have a little bit less directionality, but still really great. And for earbuds, those advantages may vary depending on the style. But for example, in my case, the Galaxy Buds Live offer decent sound quality while you can still hear your surroundings. So that's an advantage for me depending on the situation. So let's get into my thoughts. So in terms of headphones, I've only really used 2 to 3 pairs. The two I most remember are the Sony XM4s and XM5s, and I'll show a picture right now as I don't own them anymore. They are pretty much the top end for consumer level devices, I'd say. Now, once again, what I'm going to talk about later is still consumer level. But what I want to say is, for the majority of people, that is the top end. That'll sound amazing, and you'll be happy with it for the rest of your life, unless you start to dig into IEMs. And I will say, this hobby is a bit expensive. So once again, XM4s and XM5s get thumbs up. Amazing noise cancellation. So if you're on a flight or something, it'll drown out the noise of the engines and babies crying. Excellent for that use case, but they heat up my head a lot, so I decided no longer to buy headphones. So for the in-ear monitors, I'm going to talk through all my other experiences first, and then I'll talk about my favorites at the end. So first things first, the AKG Samsung included earphones. They're pretty solid earphones. They have a pretty decent cable. They're USB-C, so they fit, or they're easy and convenient to use with your phone, depending if you got them with the newer phones, or 3.5 when phones still had that. But honestly, really solid earbuds, sound great. No issues really with those. Probably next step up would be the Moondrop Chew, specifically the Chew 2. I would say these are really great at lower volumes, but there's too much treble for the higher volumes, and this will be a trend for a lot of these earphones that I mentioned. I also tried the Moondrop Starfield, and they look amazing. They're great at low volumes, but there's too much treble. Now the Moondrop Chew, very similar to the Chew, but not. It has a Type-C cable, but it's definitely a V-shaped V-shaped equalizer, or V-shaped sound. So I don't personally love it. A lot of people will enjoy it for sure, but once again, the treble just destroys my ears. I've also tried the Truth Ear Hexa. These were just missing color in the lower mids, like voices and stuff didn't feel alive. That's what I'll say. And it might be pretty aggressive. Might come off as insulting them, I guess. I don't know, but that's just my experience with them. And once again, all ears are different, so you may like it, you may not. Next up, the 7Hz Dioko. So these are planar. They're very different to most other IEMs. So these use magnets to kind of move the piece that makes sound. And from my experience, all of them have too high treble for me personally. The bass is fairly low, so it's not the best. They fit me uncomfortable, but that's kind of more of the shape than the planar part. And once again, like I said, treble too high. And then another pair I tried were the Moondrop Stellaris. These are also planar. Too much treble, once again. And these fit way too deep into the ear, so uncomfortable for a lot of people. It feels like they could fall out, at least in my situation. Once again, ears change, so it may feel amazing in your ears, I don't know. Next, Moondrop Variations. I had high hopes for the variations. I thought they would be my end game, but once again, the treble was too high. I'm very sensitive to the 10K hertz. You can Google it if you want, and you'll kind of understand what sound it is that I'm sensitive to. But the bass was really good. I really wanted to keep them for the bass, but it just couldn't. I couldn't with the treble. Now, the Moondrop Blessing 3. These I had for a very short amount of time. They had a really strange bass. These use some weird technology where there's like the speakers that go inside of the earphones were facing each other. I did not like the bass, and the treble was once again fairly high. The Moondrop Droplet. These are cheap USB-C, very interesting design. Once again, too much treble. Amazing seal. Like when you put them in your ear, you can hardly hear anything from the outside. So thumbs up to those, and they're fairly cheap. I'd say it's a pretty interesting buy, especially if you're into the design. I also tried the Let Shure S12 Pros. Those again are planar, so the high end was way too high. Sennheiser IE900s, same issue, and this is going to be a common theme with the Sennheisers. I tried a couple of them. Their fit I don't really love. Even though they're all premium built or they feel good, they don't stay in my ears. I don't know why. I guess it's my ear shape and that's just it. But they don't really fit well, and some of the lower end ones, the plastic feels kind of cheap. So the Sennheiser IE600s, same issue. Although amazing build, I love the metallic earphone feel. It just didn't fit really well in my ear and too high treble. Sennheiser IE300s. These were really good. I was about to keep them until I tried some of my favorites, which we'll talk about in a bit. But the medium, I'd say the mids start to distort at higher volumes, mid to high volumes, I'd say, which wasn't really great. And once again, it didn't have the best fit in my ear. Now the Sennheiser IE200s, once again, too high treble for me. Like I said, it's a very common theme for me and earphones. And once again, not the best fit. Now the Dunu Vulcan, I also thought these would be my endgame in-ear monitors. But no, too high treble. And the mids just feel empty. Once again, like the voices just feel like they don't exist or something. I don't know. I just didn't love it, and you might. I don't. I also tried the Apple USB-C AirPods. Now these sound amazing for the price. They're like $20, really solid. There's definitely a little bit too much bass for me, but I prefer too much bass than too much treble. Like I can use these for a long time without feeling uncomfortable. So that's definitely a plus for these earphones, or earbuds in this case. These are earbuds. Some artists or mix their music using these as reference, as it's kind of like a common ground of earphones. And if you listen to those specific artists, they sound really great. But, for me, I kind of use them more for phone calls, as they're really comfortable and I can use them for a long time, have a solid microphone, decent cable, and yeah, since the treble doesn't bother me, it's pretty nice. Now I want to talk about my favorites. So I will include my two wireless picks, which I've made videos on, the Galaxy Buds Live and the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. You can definitely tell I'm a Samsung guy. I also tried, I didn't include it in the list, not I realized, the Sony WF-1000 XM5s. They sound good, really good. And luckily you can equalize it. You can, adjust the equalizer to make different sounds sound louder or quieter. My issue was that I could not find a middle ground where it sounded great with podcasts, videos, and music. For music to sound good, voices sounded strange, and then for voices to sound good, music sounded kind of empty. So I couldn't find that middle ground, and I was not willing to remix or, play with the equalizer every time I wanted to change what I'm listening to. So I got rid of those and kept my Buds 2 Pro. Honestly, really solid earphones. Wireless is more of a convenience thing. I wouldn't say they're the best audio, especially after using some of my favorites, which we'll get into in a bit. But in terms of convenience, these win, period. I'm a very big Samsung guy, as you may see in my channel. So the convenience of being able to smart switch between devices, and I hope this doesn't connect to my phone recording right now, but the convenience of being able to switch between devices, to not have a wire in between them, to be able to take calls, to be able to do everything with them is really convenient on the go, and the wire and the noise canceling is really solid. Honestly, these are some of my favorite earphones I've ever used, not really because of the sound quality, but because of everything else. Plus they're matte. I really love the matte texture and coloring. Now for the Galaxy Buds Live, I love these for a very different reason. These are, well, they have a really great sound quality for what they are, and it's really convenient in very specific cases. So, for example, if I'm going to be on a work call, but I still want to hear my environment, if I'm sketched out or something, I don't know, or want to listen to someone calling me in the outside world, I would tend to use these if I want to also be wireless. As I said, the Apple EarPods are, my main pick because they're wired, but sometimes I want to be wireless, so these take the throne for that. Now, once again, they do have noise canceling, but it's not their point really. It'll only take the edge off of things. You can watch my video on it if you want to learn more about these. Let's get into my Hall of Fame. For the next couple of earphones, I actually bought a case for them, partially because some of them are fragile, partially because I wanted somewhere to store all of them in the same place. And, well, I just really wanted to buy a case, really, let's be honest. So, the first ones I want to talk about are the Truth Ear Zero Red. And I'm putting it aside to prevent some spoilers. The Truth Ear Zero Red. So, these were the first earphones, or the first IEMs, kind of dedicated in-ear monitors I bought. Really, really solid. Great sound quality for the price, $55. I put custom ear tips on them, or I guess not custom, but I put ear tips on them, different ones than were included, as these have a little bit of a deeper fit than some of the other ones we'll get into in a bit, but really solid audio quality. I really loved these at the beginning, and yeah, we'll get into my other favorite earbuds, which I love a lot more than these. But these were an amazing start for me in the audiophile hobby. I guess I could call myself an audiophile. I like audio, so I guess that's the definition. So I would highly recommend these to people who want to try if they like higher quality sound. I'd say that's a decent start. So the next ones I want to talk about are actually kind of the sequel of these. They're the 7Hz 02. Now, I'm not fully certain. I perhaps have forgotten some of the lore. Actually, I'm not sure if these are the sequel of the Zero Reds. I believe there's another Zero, and these are the sequel to those Zeros. But the point is that these are even cheaper. I was curious of Crinical's work, as I loved the first generation, so I figured let's try another thing he makes. These are like $25, extremely cheap, but they're really fun. Honestly, they're very comfortable in the ear, and audio wise really comfortable. Nothing's over emphasized. The bass has a bit of a lift, but I say 99% of people are going to love these, like absolutely love these. My only issue with them is the plastic build, but that's just a preference thing of mine. And plus, for $20 or $25, you really can't complain. These sound amazing, especially for the price. And yeah, I love these, and I'll pull them out of my case once in a while to listen to them because they sound amazing. Now, to my top 2 earphones. These I can't quite rank in between them because they both sound amazing and they both have characteristics I am in love with. But if I had to give a second place, it would have to be the Moondrop Aria 2. So, let's be clear, the first and second places are kind of tied, but if I had to give a specific place to each one, the Aria 2 would have to take that spot. Now, first of all, these things are extremely comfortable in my ear. They have a very rounded shape, all around except the front face, but that doesn't really go inside your ear, so it's fine. Very rounded out, and it feels almost molded to my specific ear. It just fits amazing. I love the bass on these. I think it's just the perfect balance of bass to high end, and I do like my bass, so I guess that it contributes to why I love them so much. But I think it's a perfect balance between those two. At low, mid, and high volumes, I think these sound amazing, and I will normally tend to these for music. Now, my only issue with these is in gaming. Sometimes directionality isn't the best, and that's why I kind of give my other earphones the #1 spot. These are the Moondrop Kato, and you can see they're actually connected to my computer right now. The Moondrop Kato, released a long time ago, legendary IEMs. Everybody has only positive things to say about them, probably except the price. These are a little bit less they're a little bit less comfortable than the Aria 2, as they are more angular, more sharp edges, but the directionality is amazing. It has a little less bass than the Aria 2, but that's not necessarily a negative. It really depends on what you're looking for. I wish it did have a better seal. For example, the Aria 2 and the Zero Reds were amazing at seal, but these are not exactly the best for seal, and I can play around with the ear tips. I've played around with a couple, but I haven't been able to find the perfect seal with these. Now, the audio in terms of music, really solid. Like I said, it has a little less bass than the Arias, but the directionality in gaming is amazing. So I love using these as my all-rounders, as my main in-ear monitors. They're just great at everything. Maybe not a king in anything exactly, but they're a jack of all trades, so I'm really happy with these. Now, you may have noticed the different ear tips and cable I use. This cable came with the Zero Reds. I really love this cable, and I have a spare actually because I don't like any of the other cables I've tried. As of right now, these are my favorite cable. This cable's from Truth Ear. Even though I didn't like the Hexa, and I don't think I'll like the first Zeros, the cable's amazing. I do recommend getting this cable. Perhaps it's not premium. I haven't tried premium cables, so I don't know how it compares to those. But in terms of cheap cables, cheap earphones, this cable's really good. I love it a lot. And for the ear tips, I have a variation of a couple of them. The main ones I use are from Comply Foam. I just have good experience with them for my wireless stuff, so I just stuck with them across the years. But I bought Comply Foam ear tips, and I got them labeled here, depending on some of the earphones. And these fit most, I believe, but I like to label things. And I've also got, I forgot this brand. What is it? Oh yeah, the Render ear tips. Really good ear tips. I especially recommend them for IEMs and earphones that go deeper into your ear. Really good at sealing out sound. However, they're a bit hard to put on your earphones, but it's worth it. These are really good. I'd recommend just trying, like buying a, if you want to get into the audio game, of course, buying a assorted small, medium, large of Comply Foam and a small, medium, large of Render tips, and figure out which one you like and which one fit better with your earphones. I literally have probably way too much tips, but yeah, it's kind of how I roll. I've really liked Comply Foam, and well, I'm starting to like Render tips quite a lot. But yeah, guys, that's all the earphones I've used in the last, I don't know, 2-3 years. No, it must be more. Anyways, that's kind of my experience with audio. I've made a video on my speakers, so you can check that out if you want to look at it, but it's very different to more private audio, I guess. I don't know how to call it, but anyways, I hope this video helped if you're starting to look into the audio game. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Any questions or anything or comments, leave it in the comment section. I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day.